Continuing on with part 5 now, trading NEM, GRS, Bitcoin, US dollar. And this is the episode I'm not going to lose control of the ratio because last time I did. And given that we're on day 327, that time is coming very soon. I'm going to be thinking about 30 days away. This thing really will start to get out of control. Of course, you wouldn't be one that would know that. Okay, where is my ratio thing that I had before? I guess I deleted it. So what I had before was the price, so 0.31 equals this multiply, it was 25%, so 80% is the down move. And 1.25 multiply that would be the up move. So a break above 39, which of course is the case in here, as the larger coin in NEM went down barely, and the this coin went up 100 basis points or so. So that's a nice intraday move. And let's go back. So the last trade that was done was, of course, the trade of, yeah, that's right. So it would have been this trade in here. And then the other one is traded against Bitcoin, the one in bold. So of the 16,500, what's the ownership of the GRS? That's 89,000 or 90. That would mean 20% is a little under 20,000. Unloading the majority of the 16.5 seems like I think is the order in play, but I still want to profit some. So let's think about profiting just 1,000. Thus, I should get a decently nicer number than 5,200. Yep, nicer than that, even 62, 64, 65 will be the number that is used. So there's a trade against the ratio now, and 724 net value as Bitcoin is in at 1,000. Let's continue on. So last trade in at 0.42. And we see it goes to 44. We're looking for below 34 or above 53. And the XCM sold at 1,500. I'll probably look for at least about a half off or so on a situation for those kinds of buybacks. But here's the ratio going up to 54, which sees the NEM price going up, but only by 120 basis points. This one going up by 200 plus. So we'll be buying more NEM at 14.79 and selling the GRS at the 7.99 handle. So we mentioned before selling 20,000 was relatively in order, but let's just keep that number where it was from before. And that should give us a pretty nice purchase. Last time we managed to pick up 65.20 out of selling 15.5. This time it'll be higher, even higher than that. And we'll go 8,300. And that play is then done. The wallet now has a balance close to 1,000. 245s, that's like 0.9. So to try at the 9, now we're pretty much at one full Bitcoin. As far as what, and we started off with like 0.22. So that's a pretty decent sized gain across the board, 9.3x against the dollar. Okay, last ratio had trade at 54. So I'm going to do something like this again. See where it goes. Bitcoin price at 1,000, and we're up to 63. That's a 9 basis point move. That's not going to be enough, but 68, and it's easily not enough because 5.4 is 10%, so it's got to be at least 11. Now down to 48, up to 56, 51, and there we have it. So I'm just going to move this in advance, or else I'll do the same thing for where I put this here, as the ratio is down to 42. Well, this market went down a bit. This one went down a bit more at 600. So even though we sold at 14.79, I have no problem selling at 14.30. So therefore, let's just think, well, how many do we want to sell here? Let's sell something in the nice median number, like where both coins will gain. If we sell 7,500, and would I pick up more than 15.5? Again, this is easily more. 17.2. I could pick up a bit more than that. 17.5, even more than that. Take that number. And that should not be in bold. So the ratio down a little bit, but again, we're just trying to increase these coins, increase this on the long term, and so far, so good. Let's move on to the next move. Put 42 in here, so below 34, above 53, and it goes to 82. This went up to 1482, but this one's up to 1215. Now the question is, well, definitely trading the ratio. That's a no-brainer. But the question is, do I also want to sell some GRS? Overall, 2x move in one day doesn't suffice. A 3x move in one day does, and a multiple x move over multiple days does as well. Where have we been coming from with this price? Well, we start at 452. We've seen it go down to 200, down to 120, and now it's at 1215. As far as any type of open trades in here, everything we have traded before, if we did, has been covered. When we look at what we own for each one, if the ownership is high, which it is, then you might want to consider it. So I think I will. So therefore, how much do we want to go? With a move of this nature owning 76,000, the first number is, I think 25 is a good conservative number, because that's 1/3 of your move, but we're looking at a play that has just doubled. So if we work on a 25,000 level, that would be about maybe 12,500 each, or I could go maybe 10,000 against Bitcoin and maybe 14,000 against the ratio. And if I do so, my Bitcoin number is just going to bring it up to 0.12. That's a pretty good increase. So let's do that. And this way, when we look at what we'll have left, we'll still have 52,000 and 0.63 left. Okay. So what we'll do here now is complete this trade. How many are we going to receive after selling 14? That's a good number to get. Well, this is 1482, so it's barely higher. So 12,000 work maybe? Almost, not quite. 11.5 would be a little too much. 11.200, a little too less. So 11.400 should be suffice and is. And now we'll be looking to buy this back at like 600 or lower. And the price right now for this is like over 6,000. And it's going to probably get higher than that probably soon. But you don't know that at the time. You might think it's going to. And if you're really, really confident, maybe you just do like a small amount, like 6,000 or 5,000. There's nothing wrong with that too, especially if you, and only if you're really confident that it's going to keep going higher. And I can't use the fact that I know what the future does from the past, because in real life I'm playing it towards this. Now, very soon, I'm going to be hearing a lot about WebBot, about Bitcoin going to 13,000 in February of the following year. And so I know exactly. It works out because it was earlier than it happened to be, so that's even better. That makes it easier to play. A lot of people criticized it because it was way off. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Do you take this small gain? It's like deal or no deal. Howie Mandel gives you the question: deal or no deal? As we got 62, a differential of 20 basis points. Now the volatility was pretty big. So the reason why you would say no deal is because you could get a much better deal the next day. This thing has had a little bit of a decline, and it could definitely have more. The safe play is to buy because it does fall below your ratio. I will take the safe play, realizing if this thing goes up to like 26, 2800, then that still leaves another trade that would be available to continue on within the next day. And of course, if this gets to the point like this in high volatility, we can be talking about how there'd be so many intraday trades that would be available that maybe two would become nice. Maybe you'd get a much better price because we're just looking at one time frame here. All right then. So what we'd be doing, of course, is getting rid of some of this 11,400. We gained this up to 33, so that we 3x that move in one play. So I don't think I'd want to. I want to sell the absolute minimum, which means I'm going to buy only 14,000 here. It would cost me 15,354, so that's what I need to sell this for. So maybe what would 9,500 do? I would not even need to sell that, so 8,500. A bit more than that, 88. Pretty close. And there we have it. So the ratio has been traded again. Ownership here, $1,382, 1.28 Bitcoin, or 1.38 really, 2.21 in actual Bitcoin now after doing some selling. And that gives you arsenal to be able to sell Bitcoin for dollars as well as buy altcoins, well, these two coins back. That's really the only two things you're going to be able to do with Bitcoin in this game. Of course, in real life, there's so many different things you can do with it, which makes it so amazing. 62 is the last trade, so below 50, above 78. And there we go. So if you would have waited, and I didn't know for sure, I was almost tempted to take it just because I'm thinking, well, it goes down to 50 the next day. But no, so this goes back up to 14. This falls minorly, but that's a very good ratio break. It breaks it by 10 basis points. Now, this is another part about trading, seeing multiple time frames. Maybe earlier in the day, you've seen 82. Maybe intraday, this was 97. So there's so many different ways of looking at it. Maybe you could have got two trades. Maybe you did trade 80, and then you traded uh, maybe another 25% move happened after that. But let's put this in bold and go like this. So we are looking to sell this again, owning 66,000. So 6, 12, 14, 15, 16,000. I want to do more noticeably than 20. And amongst it, let's do 15. It's a pretty good price here at 14.24. 0.213, which is a good number. And this number is supposed to be what I traded the ratio, which not just. Okay, where did I sell? Okay, it's this market, yeah. So 12.15, that's the number I'm looking for. That will skew the numbers a little bit, but there we have it. Okay, so back to this again. We're looking at a price point of 16.17 here. After unloading 15,000, it's got to be close to that, if not higher than 12, yes. 13.1, pretty close. There we have it. That'll work. So that ratio trade is done. And just another reminder, we started off with 20,000 NEMs, 16,000 GRS. They're both higher. Let's move on to the next trade. We last got in at 88, 3 trades in a row each consecutive day, which means the odds there's going to be a break below 70 or $1.10 on this next day is probably higher than 25-30%. Oh my goodness, was it ever? Well, this here was also sell GRS, as will this one as well the ratio. So what we have to do here is sell some more of this. So a third, a quarter in that range, which means a third is well over 15, a quarter is 12, so 12 to 15 in that area. So let's do 8,000 or 9,000 and 6,000. Let's do 9,000 against the ratio and 6,000 against the dollar, or against the Bitcoin rather. And because it's in the early stages, I knew back then not to sell, even though I wasn't in. I had great profits. I didn't sell profit take anything at this time frame. But let's put this in here. So that would give us 0.16 on the Bitcoin side. Let me just make sure I put this number in for keepsakes. And the ratio, well, it's down to 1553. We're now talking about a 0.24 spot. This price is not double, but from 9,000, we're talking like what, 16? Close. 15.5 would be almost there, or a little over. So we'll go 15,400 on that one. And now that we got this in play, buy it back at like 1,300, 1,200 in that area there. And just keep playing it. Now, if this is going to go way high, then we might run out, but we'll see how it goes. We'll just keep making the trades as needed. 2.1 Bitcoin value, but really 2.18. The US dollar now at 2,400. That's 24 times on that measure. 0.97 on GRS, 0.82. So a good ratio split there. So everything seems to be fine. Let's now go on to the next trade. And I guess this is most certainly where, oh, a break below 138. Yeah, noticeably above it now. Probably 128 even. And 225, 227 maybe, at least immediately. Okay, I guess 112 works. No need to buy this back. I mean, you could. Oh, man. I'm so tempted in this because it's the aggressive play. The conservative play is accumulating Bitcoin. I'm looking for a much cheaper price just in case it goes down. But the aggressive play is always to buy it back here. It's not quite half off, but it's pretty darn near close as it is. So the aggressive play again is buy it right now. If you want to wait, you can try to get 12, 13, 11, whatever, but if I know if it goes down, I can still work towards covering the other one when its sufficient time is done. So let's do it that way. I'll put this in bold again. And we're still at the point where ratio control loss is in play, but I know it will soon. So I want to profit both GRS and I want to profit both Bitcoin. So I'm going to look at 8,500 as a first number, and that does the job. So I'm gaining like 2.5 Bitcoin, like 0.025, 0.026, and I'm gaining 2,500 of the coins. Now let's gain on the ratio trade. So last time it was this trade here. So losing 9,000, gaining 15.4. So the NEM 15.4 was a decent sized gain. Getting rid of like 20-30% is still like 15,000. So I can really do like a multi-purpose whatever trade where if the way I look at it, well, what's the ratio difference as far as percentile move? 112 to 173. So differential is 61. 61 divided by 112 is a pretty decent sized move. So that wants you to go more aggressive. It's more than 50%. So therefore, I'm going to sell like 15,000 of them. And I don't know how, I pushed page down, I guess. And what I'm going to do is, well, that's 1,500. I need 15,000. How many will I be able? Why did it not? That's second time. There we go. So 0.20 gets me, or 0.21 rather, does the 15 at the 1403 price. Price is a little higher here. So what am I going to get? About 13,000 back, 12.5. Well, more than 12.5. So let's see what the 13 got. A little more even. There we go. We'll just pick that. And that trade is in place. So volatility is extreme. It's going to come, it's going to go, it does all that. And in spots like this is where you want to be focused on the situation, develop like long-term strategies. Okay, we see here 1.6. Do I want to profit against Bitcoin? If you do that, you risk taken from your gains that can come into play, especially if you know 1100 is really cheap. It's been phenomenally well in increasing these coins so far. They got good value. You've already profit taking your Bitcoin to more than you started with, so things seem to be in order that way as well. So let's move on to the next trade. It's probably going to be the next day, it seems. It is almost every single time. So 9140 are the numbers. Does it break it? Almost. I mean, 1576 down to 1298. So let's wait for another day. 1220. Well, that breaks it. So I could have gotten the better deal, as you can see, buying GRS at 1576. So playing safe, lost out on a little bit of profit. That's so little bit of profit, meaning you still got profit. Just you would have got a bit more. However, the ratio goes down. It's a differential of 78 to 112. 22 plus 12 is 36. 36 into 78, well, I'll just even show you what the number is, but it's got to be well over 40, though. 46%. And 46% is 32%. Now, I don't want to sell any NEM when my last NEM sell was 1498, and it's just been hanging around those numbers. Because this actually technically looks like it's ready to go for a pop, just by looking at those numbers. So then, I'm going to consider within this 38,000. 20% is 8, 25% is 10. My last trade was a loss of 15 even. Let's do 11 or 12. Let's do 11.5 maybe. And at 12.20, it's cheaper, so I would get more. So what does 13.8 do? It does, I get more than that. So let's go 14.8. Wow, that was close. Okay, so that trade is done. We'll look back at in here. Still a good score. Yes, the markets go up and down in your volatility, but that has to occur. There's no other way. No other way I'd want it either, because there's no other way to me it could exist. But okay, last trade 78. We only had a 1 day offer there. Does it go below 62 or above 1 or something? It goes to 63, so that's close. But again, the volatility has been higher. We could wait for a better price, maybe. Hopefully, get 55 or 50 if it's going to go lower. Okay, deal or no deal again. Let's say no deal. Okay, 102. Same thing. It's not that much higher, 4 basis points. But it is higher. It's still 24 points on 78. As XEM barely goes up, the other current. But you know what? Volatility is high. I want to wait another day. And it works out. So we'll take the 149. We've seen GRS go up. We last sold GRS at 26.81. We bought it back at 15.76. So I don't want to buy it back on a retest high. I don't want, or sell it rather. I wouldn't want to sell it to like 35 or 4 against Bitcoin, that is. But I'm most certainly trading this ratio, and it's a big ratio jump too. I do plan on selling GRS against the dollar, against the Bitcoin. I own 72,000. So if I was looking to say right now on it sell like 30, 35, I know in the future some of that's going to go against Bitcoin. And of that 35, I'd probably even take 15 of it, leave like 20 to sell. So 20, about 20,000 I'm thinking is how many I'd probably want to sell here. I think that's a good aggressive number. It's such a fantastic gain. And these are like type of like large, like if you're playing a game like Risk and you have like your cards and you have cash for a big play. Well, this is where I'm saying I have cash. I'm making a monstrous trade here. If I'm selling 20 at 25 at 17.26, I can make a monster buy because it's well less. Like, let's say 30,000. I think that's a little too much. And that's technically, yes. I mean, that's almost the right number. Okay, so 29.7 maybe, or 29.500. We'll do 6, and there we go. So that trade is done. This is wild times. As far as a portfolio here, 2.5 Bitcoin, $3,055, and Bitcoin's still only at 1,200. So you've turned 0.22, and it's better than a 10x move. This is better than a 30x move. So Bitcoin's done better than a 3x move. So on the XYZ, Bitcoin is 3, yours is your XY is 10. Okay, so let's move on to the next trade. Let me just ensure that, yep, that's fine. What do we got? 25 minutes, so one or two more trades. Okay, from 149, it goes to 117, barely below. So, no, it's got to go lower than that. Even 110, I'd have a hard time buying. Okay, well, okay, so you heard me. Okay, well, how about 108? Will you do that, Derek? Okay, well, yes, I will. Yes, I will. I will do that. So let's trade the ratio. It's about the worst I would take, maybe. But yeah, I'll do it. So this goes from 1641 up to 18. This goes down 16 to 26. Now that was a serious move that I did last time. We can see our NEM and GRS are more at equal value now. So what I don't want to do is a complete reversal trade where I'm profiting a bit on this, where that 29,000 was a big boom. I mean, that pretty much doubled my portfolio. But I only want to give back like 12 or 13,000 of these. So let's go like in 14. Just because I weighed a few basis points, I'm just going to do a little bit of extra on that. But I mean, I'm not going to get anywhere near the 20,000 that I unloaded. The price is a little bit higher, so in fact I can get lower than the 14. 13,000 is a little too much, but not really that much. Let's do 12.8, and that should be good. Okay, so that's done as far as your wallet. There we have it, still looking healthy. Let's put 108 in here. Probably the next day, the way this thing has been going. Day 353. Maybe not the next day. 109, 92, 91, 73. And here we have this one going up from 1871 to 2669. This one going down marginally, pretty much the same, but enough where we can do another crossover trade, which is in here. Okay, well, this was 14,000. Not a crossover, it's just a continuation of another one. So when we own 42,000, definitely want to go over 10. Probably even go like 12,000 now. And the net result should be that it's more than the 12. Like this, you're going to sell less here and get more back this time. So maybe we should get like, well, it's a decent sized differential on ratio now, so 16,000 is probably too low. And technically it barely is. So it's going to be 16.3. And this is it. It's good. It does soon now get under control, the ratio. I know it does because we're on row 357. And I'm not going to look back and see what they look like in advance. There's no spoilers for me. This is where I'm thankful my memory's only meh. But this is the statistics.